Take these plates and wash them in the back. People like you don't belong out here." The words dripped with arrogance, echoing through the glittering ballroom. A black woman stood frozen, clutching a tray of dirty dishes as laughter rippled across the luxury party. She lowered her eyes, swallowing her pride, while whispers mocked her. What no one in that room knew was that the mansion they flaunted in, the chandeliers above them, even the very glasses in their hands, belonged to her husband. And before the night was over, their arrogance would be shattered into silence. The mansion shimmered under golden lights. Cars lined the driveway. Chauffeurs opened doors for men in tailored tuxedos and women in gowns dripping with jewels. Inside, the ballroom was a cathedral of wealth. Crystal chandeliers sparkled like captured stars. Marble floors reflected every flicker of light, and violins hummed through the air. This was not just a party, it was a stage for power. Guests whispered deals worth millions, while sipping champagne from crystal flutes. But amid the elegance lurked cruelty, hidden in polite smirks and sharp whispers. Grace entered quietly, her dress simple yet graceful. She carried herself with dignity, but her modest attire made her stand out among the glitter. Guests glanced her way, brows furrowed, whispers quick. Who invited her? She doesn't belong here. She ignored their stares, moving toward the art-lined walls, admiring the portraits and gold-trimmed frames. She was here as a guest, but no one treated her as such. A woman draped in pearls stumbled slightly, her empty glass nearly slipping from her hand. She thrust it at Grace without hesitation. "Here, make yourself useful," she said, her tone dripping with disdain. Grace blinked, stunned. Around them, a few guests chuckled. Someone muttered, "Finally, she's doing something appropriate." Grace's chest tightened, but she said nothing. She held the glass with steady hands, her silence louder than any protest. Soon the humiliation spread like wildfire. A man with slick-back hair snapped his fingers, demanding wine as though she were invisible. Another dropped the plate into her hands, laughing, "Don't drop it, dear." Conversation shifted, heads turned, and whispers filled the air. "She must be staff. Look at her clearly not one of us." Grace carried the tray to a side table, her knuckles white, her pride burning. Yet her eyes stayed calm. Inside, she whispered to herself, "They don't know. They'll see soon enough." By mid-evening, the cruelty reached its peak. The catering manager, flushed from rushing between tables, spotted Grace standing near the ballroom doors. Mistaking her for a stray worker, he barked orders. "What are you doing here? The guests shouldn't see you idling. Dishes, now." Gasps and giggles erupted as he shoved the tray into her hands. Grace stumbled but caught herself, her face glowing red beneath the chandelier light. The crowd's laughter was deafening. They watched as she was pushed into the kitchen like a servant. The kitchen contrasted the ballroom's sharply heat. Noise, the clatter of plates, and steam rising from boiling pots. At the far end, a sink overflowed with dirty dishes, crystal glasses stacked like towers of disdain. Grace rolled up her sleeves. Her hands trembled not from weakness, but from fury held tight. Every plate she washed, every glass she polished was not humiliation, but a silent preparation. She knew something none of them knew. The house, the land, the chandeliers, every diamond on every fork, they all belonged to her family. Meanwhile, in the ballroom, a hush spread like a wave. The host had arrived. Alexander Hart, billionaire investor, the man whose name commanded boardrooms and headlines, entered in a tuxedo tailored to perfection. Conversation stopped. Heads turned. Smiles bloomed. Guests surged forward to greet him, eager for a handshake, a word, a glance. But Alexander's eyes scanned the room, searching, unsettled. Where was his wife? When Alexander found Grace in the kitchen, standing before a mountain of dishes, his blood ran hot. Fury sparked in his eyes, his fists clenched. Who did this? He demanded. Grace touched his arm gently, her voice steady. Not yet. Let them show themselves. He nodded, breathing deep, and together they walked back into the ballroom. Every step turned heads. Every glance silenced whispers. When Alexander held her hand in his, confusion swept the room like a storm. Alexander's voice carried across the ballroom, steady and sharp. This woman is my wife, the lady of this house. And tonight, many of you treated her as if she were less than human. You shoved glasses into her hands, mocked her, and forced her into a kitchen to wash your dishes. The words fell like hammers. Faces turned pale, pearls trembled on necklaces, wine glasses froze midair. The chandeliers glittered, casting judgment on every guilty face. Phones came out, recording the moment. Silence fell heavier than any music. Alexander continued, his voice thunderous now. Respect is not negotiable. Not bought with money. Not given for appearances. It is owed to every soul in this room. And tonight, you failed. Remember this humiliation, because it is the mirror of your own arrogance. With a gesture, he ordered the worst offenders escorted out. Grace stood tall, chin lifted, dignity blazing brighter than any diamond. Applause rose, not for the wealth, not for the mansion, but for the strength of the woman who endured mockery with grace and revealed truth in silence.